Zimbabwe is part of the Southern African Development Community (SADC), which was formed with the main objective of fostering regional socio-economic cooperation and integration, as well as political and security cooperation among Southern African countries. On this week's episode and some of the episodes of Economic Forum to come, we are widening our scope to look at the broader economic performance of the SADC region, focusing on Zimbabwe and Botswana, highlighting initiatives by the governments of the two countries to improve their respective nations, the region, and the African continent. I'm your host, Cynthia Shikaramba. It's good to have you along. Zimbabwe and Botswana's relations have grown from strength to strength, having roots in the liberation struggle, which brought about the independence of the two nations. The relations have, however, cascaded to other arms of development, as witnessed in the establishment of the Binational Commission, BNC, with the primary objective of enhancing collaboration in trade and investments across all sectors of the economy. Since inception, 4 sessions of the Binational Commission have been held, and in his remarks at the 4th session held in February this year in Maun, Botswana, His Excellency Comrade Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa acknowledged the risks associated with climate change and emphasized the need to prioritize deepening cooperation in the agricultural sector. This was followed by countless exchange programs between the two nations. Among them was the visit by Botswana's First Lady to Zimbabwe, followed by a visit by a business delegation comprising Botswana's various ministries, in which they toured various agriculture sites in Zimbabwe. Various players in the agriculture sector in Zimbabwe also recently visited Botswana to share skills and knowledge in the agriculture business. This was facilitated by the Botswana Investment and Trade Center, and the program kick-started with a seminar held at their headquarters in Gaborone.
We are an equivalent to our counterpart in Zim, called Zim Trade. We've got a very close working relationship. We do similar events like this one, where we sometimes take out promotion missions to each other's country. We were in Zimbabwe. A high-power delegation comprising various representatives from a number of stakeholders here in Botswana went out on a mission to scout for investment and, of course, encourage collaboration between the two countries. And, of course, we have here again representatives mainly from the agri sector reciprocating or conducting yet another visit to Botswana to embark on a fact-finding mission following our visit there.
I want to acknowledge that our relationship with Zimbabwe is growing from strength to strength. You don't have to look anywhere, you see it with your own eyes. The number of engagements that we are facilitating on a regular basis. Just in November, I happened to be in Harare at the Exporters Conference, where I got the opportunity to speak. And the level of excitement and engagement that emanated from that was very exciting indeed. I want to also emphasize the fact that when you talk about cordial relations, there are institutions that will be anchoring that. And we can, I think, show our track record with institutions like the ZITF. We have a strong relationship with your institutions like Zim Trade. We are MOU partners with institutions like ZIDA. But I think when all is said and done, I always tell them at BITC that we don't want to measure activities, we measure outcomes. Let us stand one day and celebrate that very high-level engagement in that corner meeting room has actually yielded 1, 2, 3 results.
Zimbabwe experts in development and agriculture shared their expertise at the seminar, highlighting development opportunities that lie in Africa.
Far too much Africa has been exploited. by various nationals. And sometimes we have to graduate from that. The chemistry coming through from our two leaders is unprecedented, and we must take full advantage of that. We're here after the binational. It's recognizing that there's something happening here. There's value extraction here. There's structured approach in Botswana. Let's go and learn. Many times our leaders speak, and that speech, wonderful words, they bear nothing. But let's take that. What transpired early February this year was they cast a seed to the ground. We are the hunters to bring that fruition, to bring that vision which they are talking about to fruition ourselves. We are now under a new era. We have to manage the situation. We have to survive as a region, as Africa, as SADC, as our two states. We must survive. We must play our part, produce more for our neighborhood. Africa has got a food deficit. She has had a food deficit for many. And as we try to get food into Africa, we are compromising some of our policies because we take food. So, we believe that we are going to share skills on production, processing, marketing, and consumption of groundnuts. We are also going to share on horticulture produce. And we are going to share on the production of a new product under stock feeds, founded on sweet potatoes to substitute maize, because maize is under threat. Unfortunately, sweet potatoes, the yield is between 30 to 50 tons per hectare. Compared to maize, maize is 7-8 tons per hectare.
If you depend on what you don't produce, and then you produce what you don't depend on, you are just manufacturing poverty. And that statement is now saying Botswana are going to depend on what they produce and produce what they depend on, manufacture it here and consume it here and export it to the rest of the region. I never thought I would see a day where the government of Botswana would legislate against importation of some of these products. But we now go around and ensure that this policy is also gelling with what's happening on the ground, because there are many crops here. The mistake that the government of Botswana is avoiding, I'm sure, is to say once you declare this, we're not going to import, we produce ourselves. We better make sure we produce surpluses of it as quickly as possible. So I think that's what we're going to have to concentrate on.
We also need the continuation of supporting science in our policies and so on, so that we move with the game and we move with the modern world and make this initiative a big success.
The ambassador of Botswana to Zimbabwe, Her Excellency Sarah Molosiwa, working in hand with the Zimbabwe Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, has been instrumental in facilitating business at the grassroots level between the two nations. In a speech at the meeting, she appreciated the cooperation of various arms of the two governments in the move to make the sister countries sustainable.
Botswana Investment and Trade Center, thank you so much for being so exemplary in committing yourself to fostering bilateral cooperation, particularly with the business community of Zimbabwe. The partnership between Botswana Investment and Trade Center and Zimtrade stands as a shining example of transformative power of cooperation and dialogue in advancing shared economic interests and prosperity. And that is why we are here. The partnerships established are in line with our government policies, both the policies of Botswana and the policy of Zimbabwe. So I really want to appreciate the collaboration and partnership that has been formed between, especially, the Minister of Agriculture of Zimbabwe and the Minister of Agriculture of Botswana.
On that note, we take a short break. We will continue looking at programs aimed at strengthening relations between Zimbabwe and Botswana for the betterment of the region. Welcome back. We are now in the second segment of Economic Forum. The bilateral relations between Zimbabwe and Botswana are also aimed at fostering sustainable trade between the two nations for the benefit of the citizens. During the recent visit of a business delegation in the agriculture field to Botswana, they also met the Minister of Trade and Industry for Botswana, where trade opportunities for both parties were discussed.
The purpose of the meeting to come here is a sequence of events which took place. First and foremost, the binational conference held by the two leaders of respective countries. Then followed up by a visit to Zimbabwe by the First Lady from here. And then soon after that, a business delegation to Zimbabwe by the Botswana various segments of government. And now we are here to follow up because we believe that we are the players on the ground. Specifically, agriculture is our issue. As we are well aware, we are under threat due to climate change. And as such, we need to deploy mitigating measures. Deliberately, we target small-scale farmers, the village farmer. We also do when bringing in livestock, especially goats and sheep, primarily because their manure is a critical raw material for organic matter. We do organic garlic, ginger, and turmeric. We're also saying now, currently you're exporting beef. We want to export organic beef. There's now a market emerging sensitive to health issues. And we are going to pelletize through technology, pelletize the feed so that we export. And the byproducts of that is organic fish, organic poultry products, and organic beef. So clearly, this is where we believe that access to institutions like yourselves, trade and industries is particularly important. We need each other.
As the Minister of Trade and Investment and the ministry that facilitates trade between countries and especially between Zimbabwe and the other SADC countries, we are excited about this visit. We are also excited about the fact that partnerships are coming out of the binationals between our presidents, and we are running with the assignment to make sure that as officials, between the Zimbabwean officials and Botswana officials, are going to work together to make sure that our two countries trade well between each other and ride on the synergies that are in both countries. We have strength on beef production, we have strength in other areas of agriculture, and because of the climate in Botswana, we are not well endowed as Zimbabwe. We are here to make sure that the policies are well done to facilitate these partnerships. And with our counterparts in Zim, the Ministry of Trade, we are also working together to make sure that we close all the gaps around immigration, customs, you name it. So we are here as the ministry, and the message to take back home is that we are brothers and sisters, and our presidents have opened the door for us to work together, and that's what we are going to do.
Issues of empowering women and youth are topical the world over, and the two nations, Zimbabwe and Botswana, as they thrive to be self-sufficient on food, have since realized the need to put women and youth in front in agricultural programs, as witnessed in the establishment of financial institutions targeted at providing financial assistance to women and youths. This was discussed at the meeting with the Botswana Ministry of Gender, Youth, Sport and Culture.
Agriculture, it's a sector which is vital. Sadly, it's under threat globally and indeed within Africa and SADC. Food insecurity has undermined some of the issues of development within Africa. So we want to foster our relationship under the agriculture umbrella. The key players, certainly the experience of my country, is that women constitute in our industry a good 65 to 70% of the growers of groundnuts in my country are women. Then the moment you have got that scenario, then the youth naturally are coming in. So that experience of having a very high percentage of women taking part, we have been successful. The women compete far better. That I want to beat this one. I want to be number one, I want to beat this one. And then we, during the production cycle, we visit to inspect, record key points, and indeed, a particular lady will outdo the rest. But again, that's fostering the village income capacity. That's really what we are seeing. And I think certainly in my country, more women are found in the rural areas than urban areas. And we find that statistic much more beneficial for future, because we believe life is about yesterday, today, and tomorrow. There are some problems peculiar to Africa, and Africa has to find solutions. We are victims of colonization, all of us. But nevertheless, we are graduating from that scenario.
Looking at our experience in terms of financing young people, I think we can fairly say the beneficiaries have also been women. We currently have what we call a youth development grant or program, where government is extending a subsidized loan. 50% is a grant and 50% is a soft loan. So we've been trying over the years to really give them the money to go and start their businesses. They've been investing broadly in 4 areas, agriculture being one of them. We are having about 3 farms where we will be training young people. That farm will run as a commercial farm because the intention is to give them the skills so that once trained from that farm, they will not stick to playing small. They will now also seek to go out there and run their own commercial farms.
We take another short break. We will continue with the opportunities that lie in the Zimbabwe and Botswana relations in the third and final segment of Economic Forum. This is Economic Forum, and we are now in the third and final segment. The collaboration between agriculture ministries for Zimbabwe and Botswana is exceptional, unleashing potential investment with the two nations as witnessed in the ongoing various exchange programs in agriculture between the two countries.
The government of Botswana is actually encouraging that collaboration within the two countries. We started with our presidents actually doing what we call collaboration in terms of which country can do what and which country, and how do we collaborate, which one is doing better and which one is doing better in certain things, so that we share ideas and collaborate and actually increase production and increase our economy in terms of increasing our industries. We are the Ministry of Agriculture. We are always there to assist our farmers to be more effective.
This is the beginning of a marathon we must run adequately as a nation. Anchored on our neighborhood. We are neighbors. We came here because we were very much moved by the visit which took place by the Botswana business delegation government organs which came to Harare. They came to see what we are doing, despite challenges we face as an economy. As you know, we were a sanctioned economy, but nevertheless, there's value emanating from our system. But nevertheless, Botswana in her position said, look, even that she's a neighbor, we must go and learn. And we commend you for that, by sending a delegation to come and see for themselves. Whatever they saw and brought back is the very reason why we are here today. Our company has got a particular sector they work in, which is agriculture, in particular rural agriculture. Transformation of Mai Chimuti, that woman in the village. because we believe in our culture that a woman is central to development at household level, right up to what we know as a family, as a community, as a people.
These collaborations were made possible by the involvement of private players who took it upon themselves to be instruments of change through finding business opportunities on behalf of the general populace.
I have committed to be an instrument of change, an instrument of progress, an instrument of positivity. And so if I can find opportunities for people who are serious, who are credible, I'm happy to open those doors. It pains my heart when you look at the serious skills drain that's happening across Africa, where we have qualified people, PhDs, CAs, the whole lot. We're migrating at incredible levels to take up jobs that are certainly not what they aspire to be. And so we have an opportunity as Africans to create meaningful opportunities for our citizenry.
I would like to extend my most deepest gratitude to the Botswana government, to BITC, to the various organizations and institutions that have allowed us to come here and have high-level meetings with key personnel, key decision makers in a sector that we are so passionate about. Maichimuti or Memotade is a very integral part, not only for Zimbabwe or Botswana, but for the region. As I said, a fair estimate is about 100 million people. And when you touch 100 million households, that cascades, especially into the future generations, the youngsters. And to get them enticed and excited about agriculture is something that we look so forward to. So if we can put together our resources, our research, our knowledge, our efforts, our finances, support mechanisms and systems towards actually building something, there's a really unique opportunity for us. And my message is more to the youth than anything else.
These engagements with various ministries opened doors for many other engagements, among others being the academia, agro-processors and farmers, as you will witness in the upcoming episodes of Economic Forum, where we will continue to look at the binational relations between Zimbabwe and Botswana, specifically in the area of agriculture. This brings us to the end of this week's episode of Economic Forum. For your views and comments, do not hesitate to contact us on the details appearing on your screen. From me, Cynthia Jikaramba, and the crew behind the scenes, enjoy the rest of your viewing.